Yes.
We got you surrounded.
Between a rock and a hard place.
May I introduce Jack Dorsey, the man who brought Twitter to the world, creator, co-founder of Twitter, CEO until 2008. He's now the chairman of Twitter, and he is the founder of Square, a mobile payment company. It's a great pleasure to have you here, Jack. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
The first question is about what we are calling the platform war, or the platform game, which is very exciting now in the web. How do you see the role of Twitter between Facebook and Google in the long run? What is the USP of Twitter in that platform game?
Well, what Twitter has always been focused on is hosting the public conversation. So Twitter has always been about a very, very public medium, which is quite different from a number of other technologies. And to add to the public conversation, it's also real time. So it's something that is immediately happening, and people can immediately discover what's happening in the world. There's been a perception in the past that in order to use Twitter, you have to tweet. But actually, we have a huge number of users who are just discovering news, discovering breaking events, having conversations over the service. But there's a way in just by consuming information and discovering what's happening in your world first, and then participating, replying, and tweeting. But the big differences are around public, around real time, around simplicity. So we want to build a system that the entire world can use and approach immediately and instantly. And I think we have a lot of work to do, but that is our mission.
Well, Jack, one of the sort of memes that is moving around tech these days is that Google Plus is more directly trying to attack Twitter than Facebook even. Some say that. Do you look at it that way?
No, I mean, we have a lot to concern ourselves with just building Twitter. So that's our number one concern, is we're just concerned with what we have to do to get to a greater mainstream audience, and to build it for more markets and for more people to use. But I think as you look at a company like Google, they have a lot of evolutions to go through. A lot of search traffic is moving to apps. A lot is now social. But we definitely see social as just one part of what people do on Twitter. It's one way they use it. We think of it as an information utility, an information network, communications network. So there's a huge dynamic range of how people are doing these things. And I think in this particular case, Google Plus is very focused on just the public.
Yeah, just one more follow-up. Twitter in a crowd like this in particular has historically been perceived as something you use to tweet. Now, is that how we should think about it?
No. And you're right. Like, it's always been, it comes from a very blogging-centric mindshare. So, you need to compose and you need to publish, and that goes out to the world. But the biggest value is discovering what's happening in your world in real time. Opening up Twitter and figuring out the pulse of the planet. Opening Twitter and figuring out that there's something breaking in the market, or that there's a big news event, or even in your own social network, what your friends are doing and what they're thinking about, what they care about. So you don't have to tweet to get value out of it. In fact, you don't have to tweet at all. We have a number of users who are just simply reading the service and reading accounts and following topics. We did a major redesign of the service just last month to really focus on this topic, so people can open a tab called Discover and discover everything that's happening in the world. So very simple to get in and to get value out of it.
Many journalists are using Twitter as a news tool for discovering news. Twitter has just acquired Sumify, a company focused on the filtering of relevant news. Is that an important area where Twitter would like to go to avoid the information overload? There must be a solution for that problem.
Yeah, so our main goal is to make sure that we're always delivering the most relevant content to people, content that people find the most meaningful, and to do it instantly. And this is not an easy problem. This is something that's extremely complicated in real time. And we have this huge corpus of users all over the world who are constantly sharing everything they're seeing. They're sharing 140 characters, but they're also sharing pictures and videos, and you watch these events unfold. So it's an amazing technology to bring you closer to whatever is happening. But we need to make sure that that message, all that meaning, all that data, all that information is the most relevant aspect of whatever event you're following or whatever account that you're following. So we have a lot of work to do there, and the Sumify acquisition will definitely help with that. But it is our #1 goal.
Should we expect a lot more acquisitions from Twitter, Jack, as you move to make it more and more of a consumption medium, as you just described, as opposed to just something that we think of to tweet things out? And because I assume the lion's share of activity in Twitter is using it to find stuff, right?
Yes, that is
like probably 98% of all activity, or 99.9 or something.
Exactly. I mean, every day I meet someone who says, I don't check the news anymore. I open Twitter every day. It's like looking at the weather report. What is happening in the world right now? And that's amazing. There's so much value there. So to answer your question, we're always looking for amazing teams, and if it means an acquisition, then that's the method and vehicle.
Is Twitter, again, in the long run, is it more a destination for information, for news, or do you see it more as a distributor of traffic to send it to other websites, or do you want to get the content on your site?
Well, the beautiful thing about the service, I believe, is that it's both. It is distribution in real time, and the most amazing thing is that it reaches every single device on the planet. It works on every single device on the planet today, from the cheapest $10 cell phone in Kenya to the richest media here in Germany. And anyone can participate along that dynamic range. So, if I want to participate in a global conversation in the middle of Kenya with my SMS cell phone, I can do that, and the whole world can see it, right? And that's just amazing. But at the same time, it's not just distribution, but there's amazing content on the service as well. We have a great example in the United States. There was a plane that landed in the Hudson, and there was a man who had just 20 followers. He took a picture of this plane. It was the first picture of the plane in the Hudson. And in 10 minutes, it was international conversation. It was on CNN, it was on World News, it was everywhere. And that bit of content with a man who just had 20 followers changed it changed the perception of what was happening in New York from the ground. And that's the power of the service in both being distribution and also a destination. So
it changed the
varies.
perception of Twitter also, by the way. That particular incident really did change the perception of Twitter.
But is it right that you changed your mind a little bit from being a distributor and to be more a destination, that more and more content is seen on Twitter.com?
It's a bit of a blurry line, right? Because the content itself, the 140 characters, the tweet, whatever interaction the tweet is pointing to, is a destination. It is something that people consume. And it's not just on Twitter.com. People are embedding these into their websites. We have embedded tweets, and you can put them on your news site, or you can put them on your personal blog or your personal site or your e-commerce site or wherever. So we've never really changed the mindset. We naturally have both as a platform.
Jack, I just got to ask you, one thing just happened last week in the United States that I think many of us are pretty wowed by, and that's the reaction to the Sopa protests that happened where, the internet community banded together and rallied a tremendous number of individuals to use Twitter and other tools to make clear they opposed this law. And in astonishing manner, the Congress turned 180 degrees in one day, which I don't think has ever happened before. I'm curious if you think we are entering into kind of a new age of democracy because of these tools. Is that kind of thing going to become more and more common? Do you think that to ask multiple questions at once, do you think that the ability of individuals to have this incredible broadcast power that you and Facebook and a few other services have given them is going to fundamentally change the political landscape in the world?
I think it makes more possible a direct democracy based on immediate feedback, based on the fact that anyone can give their opinion right away on policy changes or proposed policy changes. That's amazing. We've never had access to this pulse of opinion and this pulse of thought and with the velocity that we have today, right from someone's phone. I mean, we have congressmen and senators who are actually using their phones to consume this opinion in real time. And they see what the people are thinking and what the people are saying right away. I mean, it's mind-blowing. So, you know, the question is, what do we do with that? What do we do with that information? When we build the right tools to bring up the most relevant opinions and the most relevant information, how do we act on it? And how do we make decisions? And I'm a believer that, you know, you give people information, you give them rich data, and allow them to make good decisions. And they will make good decisions because they can see all perceptions. They can see potentially all angles of you know, what people think about the particular issue at hand. You know, I believe firmly that you know, this free access in the company, the free access to information in this spread helps the world. It's meaningful for the world, allows us to have better conversations, minimizes conflict because we have more understanding of how other people are thinking, and we have a better grasp of how they approach the world and their trials and their tribulations. So it definitely, this humanization of massive events makes it easier for all of us to participate and share our opinions and connect.
When we talk about Twitter, we have to ask about the business model of Twitter. You have taken a long time to develop a business model, and now it's an advertising model. Twitter is definitely big in perception, but not necessarily in active usage and stickiness, compared perhaps to other big web companies. Do you need the same level of engagement as on Facebook to make your business working, your business model working?
Well, I mean, so first of all, you know, our business model has been in development for quite some time, and it works. It is working. We have advertisers coming back constantly. We're seeing you know, an average of 3 to 5% engagement on our tweets and on our promoted products. So this is something that the market has vetted and the market has confirmed as something they want to use constantly. So we're always looking to get more engagement around the platform. We're always looking to get more engagement in our users. So this is, you know, not just related to, you know, our business hopes and directions, but also our user base, because we think this technology, we believe very strongly, can have a very positive impact on the world and also the way people run their businesses and promote their businesses and interact with their customers.
But Jack, what you're really saying then is that even though a paid commercial presence on Twitter is extremely minimal and something that most people barely see, that the engagement that happens when you put it there can be so high that you're confident you can have a giant, profitable and big revenue company?
Absolutely, it's huge. I mean, every signal that we're getting back from the market, both from advertisers and also consumers, is proving that this is something that people want to see more of. And to your point, it's organic. It's organic to the network. These are tweets, these are trends, these are accounts, these are things that people interact with on a daily basis with Twitter, and these products just push these services to people who would not otherwise notice or otherwise see them, but would be very, very interested in following or taking action on a particular tweet or trend.
What is more important for Twitter this year? Make money or attract users more? Not the answer, both.
Both.
Yeah.
That's not really a fair question, I don't believe, because it's you have to do both. Our CEO Dick has a great quote about this. You know, revenue is not just a destination; it's oxygen. It feeds the product. It feeds the model, and vice versa. You can't build the revenue aspect without building the product, and you can't build the product without sustaining it through revenue. So you need both to live, and they're a perfect cycle. And you know, we focused a lot of energy on building the network, but we have an organic product that is our revenue model, which helps the product even more. And time again, you see companies who build in a system which eventually helps the product. Google, for instance, AdSense, actually made search better. It made the results better. And this is something that was surprising to a lot of people, but absolutely true.
Jack is a very unusual person in that he has two full-time, he's unusual for many, many reasons, but he has two full-time jobs. He also is CEO of Square, which doesn't operate in the in Europe right now. It's only in the U.S. as of this moment. Is it going to come to Europe, and what obstacles would you expect to confront when it does?
We would love to come to Europe, and we're going to work very, very hard this year to go outside the United States. Square has had the company's been around for 2 years, but the product has only been on the market for a year, and we've just had a fantastic year and massive, massive uptake in the United States. There's only 8 million merchants who are accepting credit cards in the United States, and 1 million of them are Square merchants. So 1 in 8 is accepting through Square right now, and we're actually creating new businesses and creating new jobs because of it. So we think this is not just limited to the US, but it is a worldwide a success, and we're looking at markets right now to determine what goes first. It's a lot about just how we sequence things, picking the right partners in the market. But Germany is a fascinating market to Square and to Twitter. I mean, this country is gorgeous, and you know, a lot of what we do in software engineering, just the engineering discipline and the engineering constraints and beliefs spawn from a lot of the thinkers in this country. And a lot of people don't know about this, but our first programmer, Florian Weber, was in Hamburg. He lived in Hamburg, so a major part of Twitter was developed in Hamburg for the first 3 months before he came back to San Francisco, spent 3 months with us, and went back to Hamburg off and on. So it's we definitely have some strong ties, and we want to make sure that we're honoring with both companies.
Yeah, and you said you were just in China, which I found intriguing. So that's not a country you rule out, even though Twitter, it's kind of ruled out for the moment.
No, Square is definitely looking seriously at Asia because people are not carrying cash anymore. They're using plastic cards, debit cards, prepaid cards mainly, not credit cards. And you have all these sole proprietors, all these people who are creating new businesses and doing what they want. And the tool they're lacking is a way to take electronic payments, to take the method of payment that people have in their pockets today and want to use. So we're looking at China. You know, we're looking all over Asia.
Okay. Hey, Holger, I learned while we were up here, we have time for 2 questions. If you want to ask the audience what they have, audience questions. We want to get quick audience stuff.
Yeah, but one question is about Twitter in Germany. Germany is a developing country for Twitter with a very low adoption rate. What do you want to do to change that? Are there any plans for Germany to foster the engagement rate?
Well, we're building a team here in Germany, so we're really excited to be in the market. We're really excited to talk to local entrepreneurs and local engineers and the press and the media here and local government and local businesses, and to really develop the system so that anyone can use it in Germany. But I think this is going to be a pivotal year for Twitter in Germany. And we're seeing a lot more adoption. We're seeing a lot of people who are understanding that you don't need to tweet to get value out of it. You can use it purely as a news source. You can use it purely to discover what's happening around you within Munich or within Berlin or within the entire country or all of Europe or even the entire world. And then you can get in and share what's happening with you. So that unfolding path is something we want to develop a lot more into the product. But in the market particularly, we are building a team, and we're doing that right now. If any of you are looking for an amazing job, I'll be over there. And we'd love to have you and love to talk to you more.
Building a team, how many people are you looking for Germany?
We're just looking for amazing people, so we're not looking for quotas.
Now, 2 questions from the audience. Or one presentation about why someone would like to work
somebody
for
back there, Marcel, right there. Do we have a mic, or just shout it out? Well, let's think about the Weibos, but other than that, maybe not.
That's it's a good question. We actually had in our first 2 years of building the service, we identified over 150 copycats around the world. But scaling this system to a global audience is quite challenging. So a lot of the copycats initially just focused on the superficial aspects of Twitter, but not the depth of actually building an infrastructure. And that's what's truly hard, is building a utility that stays up all the time and is an infrastructure that people can come to and use on a daily basis, minute by minute by minute, and can rely upon. So we saw a lot of them go into decline. There have been some other attempts by some big competitors in markets that we can't compete in. Weibo, we're not allowed to compete in China. So there's a huge phenomenon going on with this company Weibo. But we haven't seen a lot of copycats since, because what we're doing is actually quite challenging. And it takes a lot of effort, a lot of resources, and we love it. We love doing that.
Hi, my name is Eran Davidson. We all know what Twitter is today, but I'm interested a bit in the history. You founded it. What did you have in your mind compared to what it is today?
It's a great question. It's been a life's work for me. I started by being obsessed with. He wrote a great article about this, by the way, in Vanity Fair. But I started being obsessed by cities and how they worked, and I taught myself how to program, so I could draw maps on my computer screen. And I learned how to draw dots and move the dots around, and then I found this my parents' CB radio, which would announce ambulances and taxis and police trucks and fire cars, and I actually put them into the program, and I could see the police car or the fire truck move around the city. And if you think about an ambulance, it's always reporting where it is, what it's doing, and where it's going. So I have a patient, cardiac arrest. I'm at 5th and Broadway going to St. John's Mercy. Very, very simple model, and you have all these people listening to that communication to determine where the ambulance is. So the idea came from taking that model and just extending it to normal people. Here's where I am, here's what I'm seeing in front of me, here's what's happening, here's where I'm going, and putting it on a map so you can actually see what's happening in the world. And so we're seeing that now. It's not just one city, but it's the entire world. And it's been humbling and amazing to see how quickly the users take to it and define it for themselves.
Jack, thank you so much. It's been
I have
great.
just one question.
Oh, we have
here.
time for more?
No, I have one question to you. So, who has the highest Twitter rank here? I wanted to ask, and followers. I know that Jeff Pulver is at 400,000. Is Jeff here in the room? Jeff is here. Is someone beyond 400,000? Jack. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jack.